Hello everyone, this is Erica Parker with Lyrical Innovations for Penpoint Your Perspective Podcast, and today we have a great special guest in the studio with us today, Katherine Piscopo. She is author of The Loving and the Leaving and also her book Late July. So we have her in the studio today to discuss these beautiful books of poetry. And let me just tell you, they're amazing. I've read them myself. Great content. And really relatable content that I think that anyone would enjoy. So you can find her books on Amazon, and she's going to tell us some of the other places that you can go to find her books. So without further ado, Katherine Piscopo.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
This is an honor. It's so fun.
Yes. Thanks for coming. So I just want to start off, I like to start every episode off with a sample of my guest's work. I have a few of them that I want to read, but they're rather short, so we'll go ahead and get into the content, and then we'll have discussion from there. Does that sound good?
I can't wait to see which ones you picked.
All right. The piano is a special place to me. You dance through my fingertips. You're in the same place as me. Did I bring you here, or did you bring me? Outside this room, it's quiet. The only thing I hear are the memories. I can't forget these sounds, the ones you generated and taught to me. My hands always know right where to go. You're alive in the keys because it's you who's playing, not me. The next one, these veins, these beauty marks, these wine-stained lips, these heavy hearts that carry the worry of our loved ones wherever we go. No one has more pride and honor to be who we are than us. Italia. Some days I notice clouds that carry rain, but I know those same clouds will soon part to the east and to the west, maybe even disappear altogether. We too are made of the very same essence. We can't carry rain for long. Impermanence. Every night I watch the sunset from the big picture window in my living room. I always try to capture a picture of it, but it never comes out quite as beautiful as it is in person, which reminds me to cherish the night like I should have done with you. Now I'm left with pictures, not as beautiful as you were in person, as I watch you walk away from my big picture window. I have shared with you 4 poems from The Loving and the Leaving by Katherine Piscopo, and now let's talk about it.
So I think it's really cool to see kind of which ones resonate with different people.
Yes.
And even some of those, so the last one that you read about watching you walk away from my big picture window, that was something kind of fictional that I wrote about, and I would say mostly everything else is really, directly from some kind of experience, but I just was looking out the window one day, and so I do have this big picture window in my living room, and I always like to see the sunset and like the colors that are outside, and I just kind of was inspired. So I wrote that one, and then...
I can't believe that was not an actual thing. I was just knew for sure that was an actual life circumstance or something that happened to you personally.
So a lot of my writing is very much drawn from, things that happen in my life and experiences that I had, but at the same time, it's kind of like this exaggerated version. Sometimes, like when I talk about heartbreak or loss, it's this, I kind of pull from this really deep place, but maybe I don't necessarily have, it's kind of like a romanticized version, I guess.
Absolutely.
I would say. Yeah. So,
oh, goodness.
And then the first one that you read about the piano, that was actually added in later. So I wrote this book back in August of 2017, and I went back and did like a second edition, and I added 6 more poems, and that piano one was one I added. And after I wrote it, I was like, oh, I wish I could have done this sooner. Like, I wanted this to be in the book, so I went back and did a second edition to add that one in.
I love that. I was actually thinking about doing something very similar, and it's good to have that power to say, you know what, I'm going to do a second edition.
Yeah, and I think being the first book that I've ever done, the first collection I've ever put together, I just realized I'm not done, you know?
Right.
Like, I keep writing, and in the beginning of my second book, in late July, I have it here, so I'll actually read it because it's a more organized version of my thoughts. But in the beginning, before I get into, like, the contents and stuff, I wrote, "One day after publishing my first collection, The Loving and the Leaving, the day my first book sold, I wrote 15 more poems. I continue to tell my stories of love and heartbreak, along with personal realizations, feminism, and my absolute wonderment for my ancestors and the divine. There will always be a story inside. I encourage you to keep telling yours too."
Oh my goodness.
So I think that it's really important to understand that you're never done, you know? If you feel like you have a gift or a talent or a hobby, I don't even care if you're good at it, if you just like doing it, I mean, I just think it's really important to kind of keep exploring that, and it was really cool for me to see the progression of my first book to my second book, because I wrote them within 8 or 10 months of each other.
That was going to be my next question. Like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, you've done these two wonderful works, and you've created, not only have you assembled them and compiled them into a book, you've actually written them within that time frame. I mean, I could probably have 300 or 400 poems that I can throw in a book and call myself, you know, oh, this is great. But you've actually written them in that time frame. So walk me through that. You know, what was your inspiration from going through, like, and writing these poems, these beautiful poems?
So it's going to sound crazy, but I get these inspirations like in the middle of the night. So I'll wake up in the middle of the night and just think of, for example, in my first book, there are 3 chapters, so I divided it into 3 different parts. The first one's called Adam, the second one is called Roots, and the third is called The Rest. So I woke up in the middle of the night as I was, you know, deciding, okay, I think I want to put this together as a book, and I just got this idea of the word art. So A-R-T, Adam, Roots, and The Rest.
Oh, I love it.
Something came over me, and I was like, that's really cool. Like, I just thought about wanting the chapters to spell art.
Oh my
and
goodness.
The first chapter, just to get into the inspiration for that, I had a boyfriend pass away almost 6 years ago, and we weren't dating when he had passed away, but, you know, it's like my first love, and so again, that's kind of where the, like, really romanticized version of my writing comes from, is definitely when I write about Adam, because he just touched me in such a way that I've never experienced with anybody else. I mean, even when we weren't dating, we were just really close friends, and I was really close with his family, and still am, and I just was really touched by that experience, especially the grieving and stuff after he was gone, because you kind of wonder, oh, what would have happened if your first love was still alive?
Right.
So, and, you know, in reality, I'm sure we would have been our separate ways, but we still would have continued to be friends, and, yeah, I think just the kind of tragedy, I always feel like Edgar Allen Poe, or like just this like tragedy. I'm like, yes, give me the heartbreak. I don't know why, but you know,
it's
very
just
emotional.
made for such good reading. I mean, I hate to say that, like, your heartbreak, you know, turned into great reading, but I think that anyone can relate to what's in these pages, because we've all gone through heartbreak. We've all gone, I mean, it doesn't have to be romantic. It could be any relationship.
So that's what I've found is really amazing. I've given the book to his family members, and they just are just the sweetest people, and they're so grateful to be like, wow, he's like memorialized in this way and remembered in this way, and that's why I wanted to do it. But even as, you know, a grandma, she can relate to the words I wrote, even though I was writing about a love, and then I gave it to somebody I know whose brother died, and she was just like, I can't believe that you wrote these things down. I feel this way about my brother. So it's been really special just to get feedback from people. And of course, when I wrote it, I wasn't thinking, oh, this is gonna relate to people and help them heal and grieve, but it has. So even if it just helped one person, I mean, it really like touches my heart.
So you were going through a self-therapy kind of process when you lost Adam and everything happened. Moving through it and through words is, oh my goodness, it saves you so much money, because you don't have to go and sit on someone's couch. I mean, you're really just kind of purging and processing and moving through everything that you're experiencing at the time. So when did you get to a point where you said, you know what, I've written this and, I think it's pretty good, but I think I might be able to help someone else. What was that aha moment for you?
So what's interesting is that he died 6 years ago, and I wrote everything that I wrote in this book, maybe with the exception of 3 to 4 poems, I wrote a year prior. So it's not like I was writing at that time, but it's just kind of something I've always felt. And I thought that after I wrote it, and once I saw it all come together, I was like, okay, this is my story. This is my experience with it. And I thought, like, okay, now I'm free to feel something else. But I realized with writing the second book that, no, there's, like, so much more to write. And it's kind of just always, like, a part of you because that happened to you. So, what was the original question?
I think
I was like, did I go off of
So
that?
this is your process. So then when you got to the point where you said, okay, I can help someone else or someone may be able to relate.
Yeah, so I really am big into, like astrology and stuff like that. I have an Aries moon, so I'm very much, if there's something I'm interested in, I'm going to do it. I tried ballet as an adult because I was like, I always wanted to do ballet.
Ooh.
Did that for a couple years, I did. So all of these different things, I just kind of have this like life, like bucket list, and one of the things, once I really, it's like you have to believe in yourself, you really have to take away any self-doubt, and I'm also a yoga teacher, and I've been practicing yoga for years, and I think that's one of the things that really removes that block of self-doubt, because you're like, okay, who am I? What do I like to do? What am I going to do? So either way, I just thought, I always wanted to write a book. And I actually kind of innately knew that from a young age, that I just wanted to be an author. I wanted to write a book, but I didn't consider myself a writer or a poet. And one day I just would jot down these notes in my phone, and I probably had 200 notes of just writing things. I'm like, okay. So I thought of it more as like a bucket list thing. How cool would it be for my grandchildren one day to say, oh, my grandma wrote a book, here it is. I wanted a tangible copy of something I'd put together.
Right.
And once that thought came into my mind, like I said, I was waking up in the middle of the night with just these ideas on how to put it together, what I wanted the cover to look like. I wrote on my vision board maybe 3-4 months prior to actually creating the book what I wanted the cover to look like. And the right time, right place, I was able to get the photos for it. And yeah, so it was really kind of a divine thing that came together.
Absolutely, I would say so.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what's next for you? Do you see yourself performing some of the poetry, or that's a whole other step, I'm sure, but what do you see yourself as far as taking this to the next step?
Well, I have to give you some praise and love for giving me some really awesome ideas on ways to go about, getting my work out there, other than just, social media and through my friends and family and maybe some clients at work that I talk about my writing with. I would really like to perform. I think that would be awesome.
Wow.
It feels really special. I mean, it's kind of like, oh, this is nerve-wracking, like I'm being really vulnerable, right? Like I'm putting myself out here, and people are gonna see my heart, and what I think. So yeah, I think I would like to do that. After The Loving and the Leaving, I published that in September of 2017. I published late July in July of 2018. So I have created 2 books in the last year, and I already have an idea for the next one. So I'm definitely working on that, and it's all work in progress. And that one's coming a little bit slower for me, I will say, because it's more of a, I don't know how I say it, but basically, I put a lot of different subjects into both of my books, but this one's a lot more specialized, I guess, in the genre that I want it to be. So it's still poetry, still writing, but yeah, that will come at some point.
Nice. So tell me about your perfect place to write, or your perfect way to write. So for me, I like to go somewhere like a park, or to somewhere where I can sit and observe and just watch everything around me. And sometimes if someone walks by, I'll make up a story about what brought them to the park, or if they have children, if they're newlyweds, or whatever the case may be. So what is your ideal place?
That's really special. I think because so many things are personal experiences, whether exaggerated or romanticized or not, all of my writing is in my phone. Like, I've tried to kind of, carry a notebook around and that type of thing, but to me, I get, an idea of something and I'll just start jotting notes down in my phone, and then I'll take that to my computer and then kind of put it in like a format or put it in like a different, here's this subject, and just throw it wherever it belongs.
So where are you? Are you just, maybe you're at a red light, or maybe you're
Yes.
okay, so just
Yes.
whenever the thought comes to you, if it's the middle of the night, wherever you are, you just text yourself and then, or put a note in, and then you just kind of work it after that.
Many times it's the middle of the night. Many times it's in the morning when I'm meditating, or after I meditate. I have an altar with, my ancestors, and a lot of special things from yoga on it, and I'll just sit in front of it and light a candle and just kind of pray and meditate and do that type of thing. So a lot of times just through that gratitude, I'll write, I do write a lot about my family and my heritage, because that's a really integral part of who I am and my values. But yeah, really random. Sometimes I'll hear like a lyric in a song and think, that's a cool word. I don't hear that word very often, and then I'll write something off of that word. But I try not to read poetry when I'm writing, because I don't want to accidentally take somebody else's emotion. I just want everything to be really pure and authentic.
That was going to be one of my next questions. Do you read poetry?
I read a lot of poetry. I mean, I have so many favorite poets, and that's why it's really cool that, I wrote a book, so now I can consider myself, I am a poet, I am a writer.
Yes,
because I just, these people are so, esteemed in my mind. I'm talking people from Rumi and Hafiz and Shams Tabrizi, these ancient Turkish poets I'm obsessed with. So I love those. I love the, Shakespeare, Edgar Allen Poe kind of vibes. And then I love, Lewis Carroll. That Alice's Adventures in Wonderland is my absolute favorite book. And I just think, these people who have written things so long ago and they're still relevant. Today. I mean, that's wild. So I think
your poetry will have the same effect. It's timeless. Hurt and pain and going through the process of grieving is a timeless thing. It doesn't matter, how many more times this world spins. There's always going to be those things. So you're going to be helping people in future generations. So
thanks.
Yes, absolutely. But I could get that from your poetry. It's got such a classic kind of read to it. It's modern, but it has this classic kind of feel to it that I really connected with. I wrote a book of poetry as well, and with my poetry, it was everything up until I got pregnant with my son. So it was all, my relationships and friendships. And then you mentioned the second edition. I thought, now I'm married and I'm a mom. I have 2 kids, so I think I'm going to definitely take a page from your book and maybe do a second edition or do a spinoff of the original book. And I encourage anyone out there that's listening, that's a poet, that is looking at writing poetry, to definitely take a look at, those options and reach out, whether you want to follow Katherine. What is your handles on Instagram and
so I
Facebook?
use Instagram to post my poetry, and it's Katherine.Piscopo, Piscopo. So I just post everything there, and I had personal, just a personal Instagram and all that stuff, but at one point I was like, I just don't care. I was just you know what? I don't want to be I need to post a picture of myself today. I don't know. So I really only post my writing, and it's kind of become a really special place for me to get encouragement from people and just hear what people think. And again, it's just encouraging to be to keep being vulnerable, keep putting myself out there, because if it's helping people, then that's all I could ever ask for. But I think you absolutely should do a second edition. We're always changing and growing as people, and I'm really big on, I'm just a crazy perfectionist, so if I feel like something isn't exactly how I want it and it's out into the universe, I'm like, give me it back. I need to add more.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk to you about, and this is something that, kind of gives your fans, because believe it or not, you do have some, a little bit of a deeper look into you and what it is that you do. Tell me this. If you could do any other type of writing, like fiction or, inspirational, motivational, is there anything else that you would want to dip your toe in, so to speak?
I'm really big into self-help and, just kind of like the inspiration stuff. I mean, all of my books that I have at my house, if they're not yoga related, which is also, the kind of personal development stuff.
Right.
If it's not yoga related, it's not poetry. I mean, I don't even have one book of fiction. Like, that's just not what I read. Like,
right.
Everything is like Wayne Dyer and all of that's, that genre for me is really huge. And I think it's really important to do self-study. So I think if anything else, I would probably talk about maybe like my personal experience with, learning yoga and kind of coming into yourself and maybe just what it's like to grow up as a female and how to kind of navigate through this world of, these men who try to put us into boxes, or not even men, just people in general, and maybe talk about your self-esteem and confidence and where that comes from.
Absolutely.
Because that's really important to me. I saw this woman the other day, this intuitive woman, and she just goes, wow, a divine feminine is just pouring out of you. And I was like, yeah, because I feel so like empower women,
Yes.
I mean, we really need that. And I do believe we're a minority in a lot of ways still that
Absolutely.
We need to,
Absolutely. It's all about embracing that power within. Yeah. And I think that I don't think you're done yet. I think you have some messages to get out there. And poetry is great, but, I think that the world could really learn from your story and where you have come versus where you were, because we're all evolving. Every day that we wake up, it's a new day. So, awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Anything else you want to share with us, or anything we should know about Miss Katherine Piscopo?
Oh my gosh, I could talk to a wall. Like, I could talk forever. I am just really grateful to be able to have this voice, and I have this like absolute wonderment for my ancestors and their journey to America from Italy, and me being able to have the life that I have today just because they chose to make really hard decisions and sacrifice a lot. And so I just feel really grateful to be able to do what I get to do, and other than the writing, just helping people, and I think we all need to do that. Just
absolutely.
Letting God's work flow through you, and whatever that means to you, because everybody obviously has a different set of skills.
And embracing them and knowing what we were put on this earth to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for taking that step out on faith and putting these books out there. I'm hearing some really good feedback from people that have read it, and it seems like it's really been, an opportunity for you to create a platform, and I'm just going to stand back and watch you shine, because I know that big things are coming for you.
Thank you. And it's fun. Like, it's just fun. I think my biggest, my best friend the other week, she turned 30, and she said, I don't want any gifts. I want you to give me a piece of life advice for my 30s. She's like, I just want a piece of advice, whatever you think. So then here's me, all these poetry books, all these self-help books. I'm like, what quote could I ever choose? And I just thought, gosh, like, life is just so not serious. Just have fun,
Just have fun.
Yeah.
It's too short anyway.
It
so
is.
You might as well have some fun while you're doing it, right? And not get hung up on the small stuff, because it doesn't even matter in the grand scheme of things.
Just laugh. I mean, it's, it's your well-being.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for coming and joining us. You're always welcome to come back.
Thank you.
Especially when you come up with that third book. And we'll be definitely excited to hear more about that. And to you listening out there, please tune in. We're going to have podcasts every week. And thanks for listening. Take care.